when drone pilot Sarah traveled deep into the Cascade Ridge Mountains to capture some stunning nature footage. She never imagined her camera would record something like this. What started as a routine filming trip would turn into a desperate race against time, and by the end of it, Sarah would walk away a completely different person. Sarah was gripping her seat inside the rescue helicopter as it tore through the sky back toward the mountains. Two officers sat across from her, radios crackling with urgent chatter. Nobody spoke. They had all seen what was on that footage, and every second mattered now. Sarah kept replaying it in her mind. The image was burned into her brain. That tiny figure pressed against the rock face, completely motionless. If only she had caught it sooner. If only she had watched the footage before uploading it. Hours had already been lost. Hours that person on the mountain might not have had. When the helicopter finally reached the ridge and began circling the rock face, Sarah pressed her face to the window and pointed. The crew followed her direction. And what they found down there confirmed Sarah's worst fear. This was far more serious than anyone had expected. But what exactly did Sarah's drone capture? Why were the police scrambling a helicopter? And how would a single recording change this woman's life forever? If you want to hear how this incredible story ends, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a story like this. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Sarah had been flying drones professionally for nearly 5 years. She had built a small but steady business selling aerial footage through her website. Mountain panoramas, forest canopies, coastal cliffs. Clients bought the rights to her recordings for documentaries, advertisements, and travel websites. She was good at what she did, and she knew it. That particular weekend, she had taken a short camping trip to Cascade Ridge, a rugged and remote stretch of mountains about an hour by train from her hometown of Millbrook. She had filmed this area once before. A dramatic shot of her drone climbing the sheer granite face of the main ridge had sold particularly well. So naturally, she wanted to capture something similar, maybe even better. She launched the drone from her campsite early that morning and spent 2 solid hours filming. She guided it through dense pine forests, along rocky ledges, and straight up the steep mountain walls. The footage looked incredible on the live feed. When she finally brought the drone back down and packed up, she felt great about the session. What Sarah did not realize was that her drone had captured something far more important than scenery. Something she had completely missed on the small live monitor while focused on piloting. A detail so small and so brief that no operator would have caught it in real time. With all the footage automatically backed up to the cloud, Sarah packed her gear and hiked out to catch the afternoon train back to Millbrook. The train had decent Wi-Fi that day, and Sarah decided to upload her new footage directly to her website without reviewing it first. She had watched the live feed during filming and felt confident everything looked good. She had done this plenty of times before. It was a decision that would end up haunting her. Within 30 minutes of posting, something strange started happening. One particular video, the mountain wall climb, began generating an unusual amount of traffic. Views were climbing fast, far faster than anything Sarah had ever posted. At first, she felt a rush of excitement, then confusion. She watched the numbers tick up and could not understand what was driving it. The footage was solid, but honestly, not even her best work. Parts of it were slightly out of focus. So, what were people seeing that she was not? Sarah did not have a comment section on her website, but she did have her email and social media listed on her contact page. And when she finally opened those apps after arriving in Millbrook, her stomach dropped. Hundreds of messages, all about the same video, all saying the same thing. There is someone on that mountain. Sarah sat down on a bench outside the train station and opened the video on her phone. Her hands were already shaking. The messages had told her exactly where to look. Timestamp 4:47, right side of the frame. She scrubbed to the moment and paused. At first, she saw only rock and shadow. But then, her eyes adjusted and her blood went cold. There, pressed against a narrow ledge, roughly halfway up the granite wall, was what unmistakably looked like a human figure. The image was blurry. The drone had been moving fast, but the shape was there. Arms, legs, a body curled against the stone, and the figure was not moving. Sarah tried to convince herself it was a shadow or an oddly shaped rock, but deep down, she knew better. Hundreds of strangers had spotted the same thing independently. This was a person, and given where they were on that cliff face, they were in serious trouble. Sarah grabbed her things and ran to the Millbrook police station. She was taken into a back room where 2 officers reviewed the footage on a larger screen. They were skeptical. One of them suggested that Sarah was only seeing a person because other people had told her to expect one. A psychological trick, confirmation bias. Sending a team into the mountains was expensive and logistically difficult. They wanted stronger evidence. Sarah was furious. She argued that if someone was truly stranded on that cliff, every wasted minute could be the difference between life and death. The officers were unmoved, but their supervisor, a veteran sergeant named Torres, stepped in after hearing the commotion. He watched the footage 3 times in silence. Then he made his call. He could not confirm that it was a person, but he also could not confirm that it was not. And he was not willing to gamble someone's life on a guess. Within 20 minutes, a rescue helicopter was prepped. Torres ordered Sarah to come along. She knew the terrain, she knew the exact location, she was their best chance at finding the right spot quickly. The helicopter ride was the longest 30 minutes of Sarah's life. She sat in silence, cycling between guilt and dread. Guilt because she had wasted hours uploading footage and riding trains while someone may have been dying on that mountain. Dread because she feared what they were about to find. When the helicopter reached the ridge, Sarah directed the pilot toward the section of the wall she had filmed. The crew deployed a spotter with binoculars. For several agonizing minutes, they saw nothing. Then, the spotter called out. There, roughly 200 feet up, a narrow ledge barely wide enough to sit on, and on it, slumped against the rock face, was a boy. He could not have been older than 14. The rescue team moved fast. A paramedic was lowered by cable to the ledge. The boy was alive, but barely. He was severely dehydrated, sunburned, and suffering from early-stage hypothermia from the overnight mountain cold. His lips were cracked, his eyes were glazed. He had no water, no gear, and no way to call for help. His name was Daniel Marsh. He had been part of a youth hiking group that had visited Cascade Ridge 3 days earlier. During a rest stop, Daniel had wandered off the marked trail to take photos and lost his way. He had slipped down a slope and ended up stranded on the ledge with no way to climb up or safely descend. His group had reported him missing the same day, but search teams had focused on the forested areas and lower trails. Nobody had thought to look halfway up a sheer cliff face. Nobody except a drone. Daniel was airlifted to Millbrook General Hospital, where he was treated for dehydration and exposure. Doctors confirmed that he likely had less than 24 hours left before his body would have shut down completely. Sarah's footage, uploaded almost carelessly on a train, had saved his life. The story made national news within days. Sarah was contacted by dozens of media outlets. The footage went viral far beyond her small website. Daniel's family reached out to her personally. His mother could barely speak through her tears when she thanked Sarah over the phone. She said 5 words that Sarah would never forget. "You brought my son home." Sarah continued flying drones and selling footage after that, but something had fundamentally shifted inside her. She began volunteering with mountain search and rescue teams, offering her drone skills for missing person operations. Within a year, she had helped locate 2 more stranded hikers in remote areas. She later said in an interview that she used to see her drone as a camera. Now she saw it as something else entirely. A second pair of eyes for people who had no one left looking for them.